Everyone's talking about that study abroad is getting harder for international students. Work permits are getting tightened, visa rejections are at the record high, and the fee and costs associated with studying abroad is rising. But there are 5 countries that are quietly becoming the smartest move for the students to move abroad in 2026-27. They are not just good options. These are options where the job market is screaming for talent. These are countries where governments are expanding opportunities for international students. But as you know, each country still has its own nuances, its own challenges. So let me get started with the 5 countries that matter most to you, that you should be looking at. Number 1 is Germany. Germany officially has a very high shortage of skilled workers right now. And the best part, or the interesting part, is that this problem is not temporary. Germany's federal government predicts a shortfall of around 2.5 lakh skilled workers by 2026 and by 7 lakhs by 2028. And why? Because Germany's population is aging. Fewer younger people are entering the workforce, and it has announced to increase the skilled worker visa, especially for Indian students. And certain sectors, especially technology, healthcare, and engineering, simply cannot find enough workers. Now, let me explain the practical side. Students can now work almost 140 days per year with a minimum wage of around 13.9 euros. That's roughly 1100 euros per month if you're working part-time. Blocked account requirement is around 11,904 euros in 2026. It's not small, but compared to $2,000 of Australia's visa fee alone, Germany's overall costs are manageable. So let's look at which sectors are hiring. IT, healthcare, engineering, commerce, logistics are among the top sectors that are looking to hire international students. But here's one challenge. Only about 1/3 of the students feel ready to enter the German job market despite wanting to stay. Why? Because majority of the jobs require some German to stay, even if the company uses English internally. At least B1 or B2 level German will open up 70% more opportunities for you in Germany. So if you are willing to spend 6 to 12 months learning German alongside your studies, you are in for a high demand field in IT, engineering, or healthcare. Germany might be one of the best places for you to go and study in Europe. Jobs are real, the shortage is real, the opportunity is real. The language requirement is also very real. That's a fair deal if you are ready for it. Now let's look at the second country, Ireland, the European tech powerhouse. Ireland hosts tech headquarters of Google, Meta, Microsoft, Apple, LinkedIn, and many, many more. And as of January 26, it has a minimum wage of 14.15 euros per hour, which is higher than that of UK and Canada. And here is the big advantage. The master's graduates, they get 24 months of post-study work permit, whereas majority of the European countries will give you lesser and capped at around 18 months. 2 full years. But let's look at the specific data. The demand for cybersecurity specialists, tech, engineering, business, and in some domains of healthcare is quite high. But the only issue is that most students are doing the same courses like data science, finance, MBA, and then competing for the limited opportunity in Ireland. But if you are strategic about your course selection and you actively network during your studies, the opportunities are absolutely there. So Ireland is excellent for tech and digital roles, pharmaceuticals and life sciences, engineering and healthcare, and of course for students who want an English-speaking country in the EU. And the 24-month post-study work permit, the strong tech ecosystem, and the genuine labor shortages in most of these domains make Ireland a solid choice for you if you know what you're going. Now let's come to the third country, that is Netherlands. Netherlands is perhaps the most misunderstood study destination right now. But let me tell you, it has 3.85 lakhs open roles currently. And Netherlands is expected to face a labor shortage of around 2.5 lakh skilled workers in 2026. The jobs exist, the shortage is real, and if you are choosing the right field, the opportunity could be yours. The sectors with real demand, and without doubt, tech and software engineering. Engineering, but with a focus on renewable energy. We all know the famous Dutch windmills, but these guys are building beyond that. Healthcare sector, like all European countries with an aging population, Netherlands is no exception. Logistics and supply chain can also be a real opportunity. And you also have the option of working while studying. At the 2026 minimum wages of 14.71 euros per hour, working 16 hours per week gives you around 940 euros per week, with the net income around 700 to 800 euros per week after taxes. That's actually quite competitive for student earning while they are studying. But it's important to note that non-Dutch speakers earn 5 to 10% lesser than Dutch-speaking students. But many Dutch universities offer language programs almost at negligible cost, which you can take and grow to B2 level while you're studying at those universities. So I'll be honest, Netherlands is not easy. It requires effort to integrate. But if you study engineering or information and communication, learn a little bit of Dutch alongside your degree, target cities beyond Amsterdam, the competition is much lower and you can enjoy the higher salaries of Netherlands, Central European location, and a path to EU permanent residence. On number 4, I have Australia. There's a lot of confusion also about what's happening in Australia. So let me give you the actual data and explain why is it happening. So for first, the challenges, the cost of Australian student visa is around $2,000, which is the highest in the world. And yes, also as of February 2026, almost 40% of Indian student visas were rejected by the Australian embassy. For a very high visa application fee and these high rejection rates, this is actually crazy. The visa application fees for temporary graduate visa increased from 2,235 Australian dollars to 4,600 Australian dollars from March 2026. So costs have gone up, no doubt. But does that mean Australia doesn't want international students? Incorrect. It is refocusing and looking at the right students for the Australian economy. The target intake has risen from 270,000 in 2025 to close to 3 lakh students in 2026. So the Australian government is looking for more international students. And the Sales and Training Minister in Australia is also saying that they want more expansion of vocational training as well to meet the skill requirements of Australia. Australia's new strategy is absolutely clear. Quality over quantity. Skills over volume. So what this means practically is that post-study work opportunities depend entirely on occupation demand with stricter alignment between education and industry needs. So don't just blindly go and apply for any course in Australia. The rejection rates for generic programs is extremely high. But if you are looking to study healthcare, engineering, especially renewable energy, and construction, technology domains like cybersecurity, AI, and data science, at the same time social work and community services, you will be in the priority zone. If you are going there for a generic business program or that course that doesn't align with the labor market, then yes, most likely your visa will get rejected. And despite all of these policy changes, Australia offers some things which are unheard of in any other international country. High quality education with globally recognized degrees, with work rights going up to 48 hours per fortnight, highest across all countries, with a national minimum wage of around $24.95, which is approximately $948 per week. A post-study work visa that extends up to 5 years, great competitive salaries and work-life balance, and a pathway to permanent residency. Many students are willing to switch countries for higher probability of internships, work rights, and longer term opportunities. And if you're thinking of that, then Australia could be one choice. But it also has the other side. You need to have studied minimum 2 years in Australia, which also makes your cost of education higher than many of the other countries. So if you have the right funding, and if you can invest 2 years in education, then Australia could be a right destination for you. And let's talk about the final 5th destination, and that, my friends, is the UAE. And specifically in UAE, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Sharjah. Now I know what you're thinking. UAE for studies? Really? Yes, really. The UAE job market has 5 lakh new jobs almost annually, driven by new projects being consistently launched across the country. The unemployment rate in UAE is forecasted to be around 2.58% in 2025, with an employment rate forecasted to be at around 78% in 2026. The UAE's GDP is going to grow by 5.5% in 2026. It's one of the fastest growing economies in the Middle East, and that too in the non-oil sector. And the most aggressive hiring in Dubai is happening very surprisingly in fintech, in Web3, Web3, and in digital-first banking solutions, a good salary range. Students within the Abu Dhabi global markets ecosystem have particularly strong opportunities in finance, fintech, and blockchain, with a 25% year-on-year rise in internship opportunities. And here's something fascinating. The tech hiring moves much faster in UAE as compared to US or Europe. You can go from interview to offer in 2 to 3 weeks. So here's why UAE is worth considering. Tax-free salary, rapid career growth, central global location, multicultural environment, and English-speaking country. UAE may not have been a traditional study abroad destination, but it is becoming one of the best places to find global career opportunities. So if you are interested in AI, fintech, blockchain, technology, or construction, UAE offers opportunities which are unparalleled than as compared to anywhere in the world. So studying abroad in 2026 hasn't become easier, but it is moving in new directions. If you look closely, the opportunities haven't disappeared. They have just shifted their focus. If you are looking to study abroad, I know you also would look at working abroad, and hence your mindset needs to be towards your longer term goal. And for that, you need to look beyond and differently at new upcoming destinations, because you're not looking to just go abroad, you're looking to be successful there. If you still have any questions, any doubts, do leave them in the comments or reach out to me or book a one-on-one session with me. The link is in the description, and I will see you all guys in the next video.